Hello everyone. In the video today, I'm going to share with you one of my favorite things to do to keep my neck feeling as good as possible. As I've mentioned in some of my other videos, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on a regular basis. I also train in Muay Thai, which is Thai kickboxing for folks that aren't familiar with that. So there's a fair bit of wear and tear that gets put on my neck. I'm getting put in headlocks and different choke holds, and I'm not very good, so I'm oftentimes on the receiving end of those, sometimes getting whacked in the noggin. So there's a fair bit of strain that gets put on my neck. So I've mentioned in some other videos where I talk about cold plunging, that's something that's been really, really helpful for me, and that's been helpful for all of my joints, including my neck. So I love the cold plunging, one of my go-to secrets to keep myself feeling good, because the folks that I train with for the most part are around half my age, give or take. So it's quite the workout for my body. But the cold plunging really helps to keep down pain and inflammation levels. But unfortunately, I had some pretty notable trauma to my neck a number of years ago, doing backflips that I never should have been doing. I landed on my neck really badly. Thankfully, things like injection therapies like PRP and prolotherapy and ozone therapy have been really helpful in that regard, but it's still an area that I just have to be more cautious and mindful with. And again, I'm just constantly putting it through the ringer with these activities that I do. So in addition to the cold plunging, one of the things that has been very helpful for me over time is doing something called spinal hygiene. My wife taught me this. She's a brilliant person. She's also a naturopathic doctor. She learned this from a chiropractor, and it's something that I do on a regular basis. And I find if I don't do it, if I go like too many days, not doing it, then I find that my neck feels stiffer or more uncomfortable. So something that's been really helpful for me. As per usual, nothing that I'm saying in my video should be construed as medical advice. This is for informational purposes only. If you need medical advice, please talk to your healthcare provider to get that advice. So I'm just demonstrating this for interest purposes, or for academic purposes, but just to give you a little bit of insight into what I do for my neck, and it seems to work well for me. So it's incredibly simple. It's so simple that I don't know. I'm embarrassed that I didn't think of it at some point in my practice career prior to learning about this a few years ago through my wife. So basically the way it works is for a certain period of time, depending on how much time I have, I'll set a timer for 1 minute, 90 seconds, 2 minutes. But basically during that time, I'll do flexion and extension of my neck. So basically doing this motion. And so going at about this pace, give or take, and just basically doing that for until the timer goes off. Once the timer goes off, then I will do some lateral flexion. So again, hit go on the timer, and then just kind of at this pace. So just basically bringing the ear to the shoulder, and then for so timer goes off. So once the timer goes off, then stop doing that motion, and then hit the timer one more time, and then I'll do lateral rotation. So like this. Basically like doing a shoulder check, essentially. And so just going in that smooth, methodical way, and depending on how much abuse my neck has been under in the days prior to doing the spinal hygiene, or how I slept that night or whatever it happened to have been, then sometimes the first few rotations or movements in that range will be lower, like shorter range of motion, kind of more uncomfortable. I might feel some pulls or whatnot here or there, but usually by the end of the 1 minute, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, it's feeling quite a lot more limber. Range of motion is better. I've had periods of time where, or points in time where just fates conspire. I like throw one of my kids on our crash mat in our basement the wrong way, or was lifting weights and just something was not lined up right or something like that, and I'll like kind of get like a major kink in my neck, and it's like really uncomfortable for a few days. And that used to happen on a semi-regular basis. Again, with cold plunging, it's helped a lot. Injection therapies have helped a lot. But nowadays, if I start to feel an inkling of that, it's like I really don't want to go there, mostly because if I get a really bad kink in my neck, I have to stop doing my training, and I don't want to do that as I'm really addicted to it. So I'll just make sure that I do the spinal hygiene maybe a couple of times a day, for a couple of days in a row, and not to jinx myself by saying it out loud, but it's worked really well. Generally, I do not get those like really bad kinks in my neck, and so that's been great. So wanted to just share that with you folks. I've been thinking about making this video for a little while. I was like, today's the day. It's got to share the spinal hygiene anecdote. You can do spinal hygiene for your lumbar spine, your thoracic spine and your lumbar spine as well. I'll just quickly demonstrate that. I don't have a microphone, so I'll just kind of explain it, and then I'll just demonstrate it here. So it's basically just flexion and extension at the hips. It's then lateral flexion, so going side to side, and then it's lateral rotation. So I'll just stand up and do that. You probably won't be able to hear me very well if I'm talking, so I'll just demonstrate it, and then you'll see what it looks like. When I save my videos, there's just always like a random screenshot from the video that winds up being the cover photo, and 9 times out of 10 they're the most unflattering photos possible, but I just can't be bothered to go in and log into the different social media platforms and change the cover image. It is what it is. I don't mind looking, a bit goofy in some of my screenshots. I just can't wait to see which one comes up with this particular video. If it's just me, kind of twisting off to the side. Anyways, we'll see. So I hope this information was useful. If you have any comments or questions about this, leave them in the comment section below. If you yourself are using spinal hygiene or some analogous system and it's been helpful for you, not helpful for you, want to share anything about that, I'd be interested to hear about that. It's been really, really helpful for me, especially the neck side of it. My below the neck, haven't had any major historical traumas, thankfully. So I do the lumbar thoracolumbar spinal hygiene as well, just not as often because it's just an area that doesn't really squawk at me. But I hope this information is of use, and I will leave it there for now.